Hi, I'm Bill Hodges. Spotlight on Government is not conflict television, but rather a safe and sane place for public servants to express their views and communicate directly with their constituents. Those who would scream and yell to rudely disrupt informational meetings have no place on our show. However, if you are one of the people who really wants to learn what's happening at all levels of government, this is the place for you. Hi, I'm Bill Hodges, and this is Spotlight on Government, and you're going to enjoy this show because I have a guest who always has great ideas and is one of the nicest ladies I've ever met. Representative, how are you today?
I am just wonderful. Happy New Year to you and all of the constituents and everyone in the community.
Everybody knows Betty Reed.
I hope so.
It's really nice to have you on the program. How long have you been in the legislature?
Since 2006.
2006, so
yes.
Really this is your fourth year?
Yes, yes.
What do you think probably is the most wonderful thing or the greatest thing that you've been involved in since you've been in the legislature?
Oh, that's easy to answer. My first year there, myself and Senator Arthenia Joyner passed a bill that was for infant mortality of babies that are dying before the age of 1 year old. And that was to do research. It was $1 million budget that was passed to do the research on that. This is the final year that that particular bill will be in the research mode, and then we will get all that data and material to go out into the community and make a difference with the children that are dying so early. We have some information already of what is happening with our children, and hopefully we can make a difference in that.
You know, it sometimes bothers me because we put so much emphasis on the pro-life, abortion, whatever, and yet we don't really put enough emphasis on the children that are here.
I agree. I totally agree with you. And once they are here, just to let a baby die because of need is not, I just think we are not doing what we should be doing.
Yeah, there seems to me to be a place in America where when a child is born, we ought to be, I don't know whether this takes a village, puts me into a wrong category, but I think we do all have a responsibility once that child comes onto this earth to make sure that it's taken care of.
I totally agree with you. We do have a responsibility. And you know what we are finding in this research is some young mothers just need the attention of, you know, long years ago, you're too young to know about this.
I don't think you're any older than I am.
Long years ago, when a mother was pregnant, that was a special time for everybody in that family, grandmother and all, just kind of took over and said, you do this and you do that and you take care of the baby. And we don't have those services anymore. And a lot of young women are raising babies by themselves, and that also is a factor in trying to make sure that you are taking care of the child.
Well, you know, the family is fractured anymore.
Yes, it is.
Our divorce rate is over 50%. It makes it very, very difficult. And that, you know, the divorce rate only shows a part of it.
Yes.
When you start looking at the number of young men and young women who conceive children and aren't married to begin with.
You're right. You're right.
That adds a whole different group to that group of divorcees. At least there you had a family that was fractured, and you have some kind of background that gives the child something as far as the family heritage. But a lot of these children have nothing, and these young women are left by themselves.
Right.
To try and raise this family.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and that's what we are finding. So someone was asking me a few days ago, well, you have no money, so if you get this bill to go, once the research is done, what will you do with that data? You have nothing to go on, nothing to put a different program in place. I just think if we can get the mothers, the grandmothers, and the community to understand that if we put our part in and help these young women, we can make a difference without money.
Well, money's got to be there sooner or later, but you have to be able to define the problem before you can even throw money at it.
Yes,
Too many times we throw money at a problem, we're not even sure what the problem is.
You're absolutely right.
So I think it's a very important thing to do that research and that study ahead of time. And, of course, that it doesn't go sit on a shelf somewhere once it's done.
Well, you know, that's one of the bills that passed that I was a part of, that it touches my heart. So since that touches my heart, regardless if I'm still on this earth, I will work to make sure it doesn't sit on the shelf.
There's little doubt in my mind that you're going to make it happen after all your years of teaching and all the other things you've done. I just can't see you walking away from it.
No, sir.
One of the things that's going on right now is the census.
Yes.
How is that going to affect our communities?
That will truly affect our communities if we don't take the responsibility of making sure that we get everyone counted. You know, so many people in my community, and I'm sure there's some in yours and every community in the state, that doesn't trust the census. You know, there are people that doesn't trust our government. We must acknowledge that first and foremost.
That's getting to be a much larger number.
Yes, first and foremost. So having the census come out, there are people who just doesn't trust it. But the thing is if we don't count people, regardless of where they are and what they've done in the past and what they plan to do in the future, if they are here, they need to be counted. Because that's how we get resources, that's how we are able to keep everyone going in the community. We know who we are dealing with. But if half of our community stay inside, refuse to be counted, then that's what we are going to get from Washington, half of the citizens that live in the state of Florida. So my mission over the next few weeks is to educate people wherever. On the 27th of January, the Black Caucus is doing a statewide initiative to get people to understand how important it is for them to be counted.
You know, a lot of people say, well, this census thing, why are they doing that now? But census, as I remember, goes back even into the Bible. Wasn't it the reason that Mary and Joseph were there?
Yes.
And Jesus was born there where he was born because of the census that they were doing at the time?
Yes.
So this is nothing new.
It's nothing new. It has been going on, but it's so many people that have missed being counted until we just have to make sure this time that we don't do that.
What about illegal aliens that are in the country?
Even illegal aliens need to be counted. We need to know that they are here. The census are not there to pass judgment on anyone. What they are going to do is take that data and pass it on. And now, whoever is there to decipher it and find out this many people are illegal or whatever, I'm not sure on that. But I do know that the census, all they're doing is collecting the data, and they're going to pass it on.
So if I were an illegal immigrant and a census taker tried to get my name or whatever they do, very honestly, I've never had a census taker hit my door in all my years.
Right, because you just sent yours back in.
I just send them back in.
Yes.
But I wonder if somebody were an illegal alien, would they be worried that INS was going to be standing on their door next?
Of course they would. That's the reason why so many do not get counted. And someone that has been in prison or been incarcerated and they haven't repaid their restitution, even though they're out in the community, they might not get their information out there either, because they would be afraid of if I put my name out there, then everybody's going to know where I am and I will get picked up and be sent back to jail. So those type of people are the ones that we want to make sure that we talk to, that we get them to understand that this is the data collection, and first and foremost of everything, we need to know who all we're talking to and how many people we have in the area.
So can we say that there's no connection between their giving their data and then somebody from INS showing up the next day having taken that data? Is that data private?
It is
secure?
It is private and secure. So yes, from that particular prospect, I would say I truly feel safe that this data is not going to be put in the hands of someone to go and track you down and send you back to wherever you came from, or to use it in any other way. It is just a data collection.
And if people don't cooperate with the census, what's the downside?
The downside is that you will not be counted. The people that are counted are the ones that the United States will say, these are the people that are in Tampa, Florida, these are the people that are in Hillsborough County, and if this is the case, then we will end up losing possibly another senator that we could send up there to fight for our cause, possibly social services programs that we could possibly get in this community. All of those things would be lost because they can only count the people that we actually have the information on. And so please, I beg people to please make sure that once they receive the information, they send it in. If they do not, when someone comes to your door, make sure that you complete the data.
And if we're just talking here about
Yes.
state senators and so forth, but it would affect, if they don't get counted, it would also affect our representatives in Congress.
Oh,
correct?
yes. Oh, yes, it certainly would. Yes. it
So
would.
those are important things to consider.
You're absolutely right.
You've had a very strong background, a very great expertise in education. What is your background? I know it, but tell the folks what your background in education is.
Okay, I have worked from being a financial aid director. I started out as a PTA representative, and then I went on in other areas from teaching at a private university all the way up to managing a college for about a year. And so I've had a variety of skills in working it within the college system.
What are the things that you see right now that we need to do with our educational system?
Oh my, I knew you were going to ask that question. There are quite a few things that I see that needs to be done in the educational system for us to continue along the route that we're going. In my district, we're having a problem with graduation. You know, students start out in school, they lose interest in what's going on, and they just drop out. They just don't show up for school. So I see that we must, in 2010, find the mechanics that will help us to make sure that we complete more graduation rate. Yes, they might finish. Some of them might finish and get a certificate, but that's not a completion of graduation. So we really have, that's one of the areas that we really have to work on. And I know some years ago we had a class amendment passed that required smaller class sizes. Well, we're having a problem with that in Tallahassee because someone come up with what if twins go to school. If twins are going to one school, if someone move into the community with a set of twins, and our class size can only be 20 students, we have one spot for one of the children, but not a spot for two. What do? Send one to that school and the other one to another school? I think that should be very easy and simple to do. You know, there has to be some flexibility. You can't just say one size fit all the way through. So I understand that it's possible. It will be on the ballot again this fall, asking for more flexibility in the class size amendment. That is one, and the other one is we must find a tool that's going to hold our children interest and get them through school. And that I just truly believe is one thing that we must do. Every year as I talk about that, I keep hearing we need more money. But sometimes if you put your focus on what really needs to be done with the money you have, you know, we all are learning to live with less. I know I am. Just from the economy that we're looking at right now, I'm learning to live with less. So we all possibly can live with some less, including the schools.
Well, we've been on a binge.
Yes, we have. But we have been fighting very hard to make sure that the schools don't lose any money.
You know,
if they don't get any more, they don't lose any.
The problem that I see in a lot of schools is you have this tenure thing. And
yes.
I honestly do not understand why, just because somebody's been there a long time, they get to stay.
Right.
I've been in small business all my life. I'm a trainer. I do training for major corporations. I do a lot of training for government agencies. And I'm hired back only because I do the job.
Right.
Not because I've done 10 jobs for them or 15 jobs for them.
Right, and been there 5 years.
Every job I'm done, when I finish, there's a complete evaluation of what I've accomplished.
Yes.
And I look at some of these schools and I wonder, and I love teachers. Don't get me wrong. I think teachers are fantastic and they're worth every penny they're paid if they're a good teacher.
Yes.
But I think also we have a lot sitting there, Betty, that just say, well, I'll go in today, collect my money, keep them from tearing down the school building, and that's all I need to do.
I'm sure we have those too. I'm sure we have some of those too, yes.
I am so excited about good teachers.
Well, I am too, and I think the grant that that Hillsborough County school system got, I think that's going to help us to concentrate on making sure that we have good teachers. I think the grant is going to drive that, because that's what the money is for, is to make sure that the teachers are prepared when they go in the classroom to teach the children.
I don't know, are you familiar with 360 evaluations?
360?
Well, 360 evaluations is very simple. It's, if I work for you, you evaluate me correctly?
Right.
All right? My customers evaluate me.
Right.
That's because they either buy from me or don't buy from me.
True.
They like me or don't like me.
True.
But 360 says, I evaluate you also. I
True.
evaluate the people that work with me, and I evaluate my customers. And then we take the whole thing. In fact, one school system up in Ohio, they did this, and they couldn't do what they'd like to have done because of the tenure thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did was they said to the teachers, which administrators are not doing their jobs, which teachers are not doing their jobs. And the results were really fascinating, because the teachers know who aren't the good teachers in their school.
Right. You're absolutely right.
And they also know who aren't the good administrators.
True.
And to get that kind of feedback is a very important. That's called 360 evaluation, where everybody evaluates everybody. And then you take it. And I'd really like to see that instituted not only there, but in a lot of other places.
I agree with you. I agree with you. That is a good area.
Let's go back to the stimulus package.
Okay.
There's been so many people just against the stimulus. Oh, the stimulus is horrible, doesn't create any jobs. But I noticed that the Florida State Legislature lined up like a group of hogs to pass this transportation bill paid for by the stimulus package.
Right. That is one. But even last year, we plugged a lot of holes in our budget with the stimulus resource money that came from. Education got part of that money, and healthcare got part of it, and also we expanded the child care program with stimulus money. So even though everybody said they did not, well, not everybody, but there's a group of people said that the stimulus package did not do anything to help people, it did. It kept a lot of people in their jobs, and also made sure that we had enough money to at least bring home Alabama's budget.
I wonder at a lot of things when I hear people talk. I hear people that are quite wealthy.
Yes.
Unwilling to make sure that children have health care. So that they can go off on their vacations. I earned it. It's my money. I got it. I don't have to give it to anybody.
True.
and then go to church and claim to be a Christian. Or a good Muslim
I didn't
or
think
whatever.
anyone thought of that.
I understand
except
how
me.
it works that way.
I don't understand how it worked that way either. I didn't think anyone really paid attention to that but me. But that's exactly the way I feel. You can fight so hard against something and then be the first one to use it when it becomes available to you. And we know that health care is important to everybody. Everybody. But if you have health care, if you've never suffered from needing to go to the doctor and didn't have the resources to go with, then I don't think you can understand what it's like to be one of those people that don't have health care. I think some people are understanding it now that has never understood it before because they've been laid off from work and they don't have the health care. So
and then all of a sudden they're on that COBRA thing.
Yes, and COBRA is not cheap. Right, it's not cheap. So if the only thing you have is COBRA, you can only have it for a certain amount of time, because if you need the money and you run out of, your money cannot continue to grow if you're using it and not putting any more back in. That's just the normal truth about the thing. So if you are on COBRA, you can't afford to stay on COBRA for so long. You can't afford it for that year and something unless you are wealthy. And so they're beginning to understand.
You won't be long.
No, you will not. You will not. And so more people are understanding this, but still we have so many people out there that have never had to experience it, and they just don't understand that this program is so needed in our community to help families survive, and especially now when the economy is in the shape it's in right now. And for small business people, they just cannot afford it.
I'm really blessed because I have both Medicare and the VA.
Oh, you are.
And I have to, for those of you out there who have served your country and yet have not looked at the VA as an alternate source of health care, I encourage you to call Frank Strom at the Hillsborough Department for Veterans Affairs. He'll help you. Call the VA themselves. They'll help you. I've never been treated in any establishment better than I've been treated by the people at Haley.
That is wonderful. That is really great. That's a fine facility out there.
It's one of the jewels of the Hillsborough County, I think, having that facility right there with us.
Yes, you know, a couple of years ago they built, I can't remember the name of the house, but it's for the soldiers that are coming home now who maybe need their family around them, but they don't have.
It's like the McDonald House for cancer
for families to come and stay.
Yeah, it's a fabulous facility.
It is.
And the only sad thing that I see now is when I first started going out there, it was mostly people my age that were going in.
Yes.
And unfortunately now we're seeing more and more of these Gulf War young men and women coming in.
You're absolutely right.
And it's so sad to see them with their lost limbs and their eyes and, oh.
It is. And, you know, the thing is we hear daily about how many of them actually died. But we don't see daily how many of those people are coming home maimed and you know, with lost limbs and with their health gone forever.
Yeah.
And
we'll pay for that forever.
We will.
Betty, I'd like to give you just a minute to talk right directly to the folks that you represent.
Oh, thank you.
Talk to them for a second about anything you wish to talk to them.
I would just like to, and first and foremost, I must tell you again to make sure that you complete your paperwork for the census. That is the most important thing at this particular moment that we need to get done, because we need to have everyone counted, so do that. The second thing I want to talk to you about is I want to stay your representative. I want you to call me if you are having any problems that you think I might be able to help you with. And if there's something you're not sure, then still call my office. I can give you the office phone number, but my office is located on the corner of Palm Avenue and 22nd Street. The phone number there, I hope you had time to get a pen, is area code 813-241-8024. I am working hard to make sure this year is a better year than last. I hope and I pray and I'm working as hard as I can to make sure that we get people employed again who is not on anyone's payroll now. The economy is going to get better. I truly believe that within my heart. We have gone through worse than this, and we survived, and we will survive this. With your help, we will get through this bad economy. I have seen some sparkles of the turnaround. I haven't seen the turnaround yet, but I've seen sparkles. So let's hang in there, as my children say, a little bit longer, and it will be better. Thank you.
Well, you know, I will echo Betty's remarks right there because, quite honestly, I just believe America is strong.
Yes.
We are deep. The resources are there. There's money out there. People just aren't spending it that are at the top and have the money.
True.
They're holding on to it for a better deal.
True.
Believe in America. Move towards the future, not hang into the past. Drop your petty hates and your petty angers and start making this country work again. That's
Yes.
what's going to make us great.
Yes.
And keep us great in this world.
Yes.
There's nowhere in the world I'd rather live than this country. With all its flaws, with all its warts, it's still the greatest place in the world, Betty.
I agree with you.
And it's people who give their time and take political office who I really appreciate. You know,
Thank you.
Unfortunately, a lot of people give you a bad flack as far as being a representative or a senator or whatever. But, you know, you work hard at it. There's a lot of hours go into it.
Yes, it is. And, you know, sometimes you might not bring home legislation, but you have kept a lot of bad legislation from passing. So that's as important as bringing home legislation.
That's very, very true.
And we can't do that without your support and without your help, helping us to make sure that you write letters to all of us. Because I tell everyone, I don't just represent District 59, I represent the state of Florida.
And that's important, to get those emails and those letters in, right?
Yes, it is. It's extremely important.
Representative Reed, it is always a pleasure to have you on the program. I trust you'll come back.
Oh, yes, yes, I will be happy to come back.
I really appreciate your being here, and thank your staff.
I certainly will.
Wanda is so easy to work with, and I love her, and she's just really nice. Michael's your other staff person?
Yes, he...
Both wonderful people. I'm Bill Hodges. This is Spotlight on Government. You're unique, you're special, and you're great. Tell yourself so often because you are, you know. We'll see you on the next Spotlight on Government. Again, Representative Reed, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hodges, very much.
Well, that's it. You've just finished watching Spotlight on Government. Each month, we bring you elected officials and others who impact upon your life. We hope that by bringing them to you in a non-threatening environment, you will get to know them better than you would by watching 30-second sound bites provided by commercial television. As moderator of this program, it is not my intention to tell you what to think or how to think, as do the talking heads on MSN and Fox News. What we hope you'll find here is information needed to make up your own mind on the subjects of the day. Programs on this website are delayed by about 30 days to allow airing cycles on Tampa Bay Community Network to be completed. To watch these programs when they're broadcast on Tampa Bay Community Network, simply go to Bright House or Verizon on the channels and times shown. No matter how you watch Spotlight on Government, we're glad you were here. Thank you for your support.